The stock of the day is brought to you by IG, Australia's #1 CFD provider. Trade over 17,000 markets with extended trading hours on key US shares and competitive spreads, all on an award-winning platform. Get started at IG.com.
Our stock of the day is Lynas Rare Earths. Now, rare earths very much in focus at the moment. I'll get to that in just a moment. Let's take a look at Lynas. Gross sales revenue down for the third quarter compared with the previous period. It posted third quarter sales revenue of 123 million. That was up from 101 posted in the same quarter last year, but undershooting consensus forecast of 156. The miss being blamed on lower rare earths market pricing and that trade volatility globally. It expects that volatility to continue through the June 25 quarter as a result of the tariff environment and China's export controls. It's one that volatility caused by the US-China trade war will continue throughout the year. Now, Lynas is one of the few big producers of rare earths outside of China, which recently tightened controls over the sale of minerals in retaliation for those tariffs imposed by the Trump administration, rare earths being vital, of course, for the reduction in some high-performance magnets used in electronics and defence as well as EVs, but certainly critical as far as the US military is concerned, and China essentially having a stranglehold over the production and processing of rare earths. So where's that leave the likes of Lynas, Jonathan?
Okay, so Lynas and a few other rare earth players actually popped up on my, so I do scans every day, every time something's starting to move, it just pops up on my scan. And when a collective group actually pops up, you're like, okay, something's happening there. And so the likes of Lynas, Arafura, Meteoric, a few other names all started popping up, and obviously there's buying there, and it's all based on China and their domination in rare earths. This is what I have mentioned there before, is that I think people have underestimated how far ahead, or how much of the supply chains China has actually monopolized and have for their own sort of use. It was actually the Pentagon or the Department of Defense that actually highlighted this to the leadership in the Americas, that if USA wants to actually fight a war against China, we will actually absolutely lose, because they actually control the supply chains. So it was, that's one of the messages that Trump got, and said, okay, well, we need to fix that situation and bring back manufacturing and make America great again. So what that means is that anything that's processed outside of China has gotten a bid, and that's obviously some of the deposits that we have here. So ARU's got a bid under it. Lynas, one of the rare companies that actually processes it, they've actually started processing in the Kimberleys, some of their dysprosium, and also some in Malaysia, but they've had a bit of a kickback there as well, because obviously processing rare earths is quite pollutive as well. So the way I see it, there's a trade in this. Long-term strategic, USA needs to wrestle back some of the production back from China. So for me, it's a trader's market. There's a trade in here. It's a buy for me for Lynas.
Okay. Mark, have you looked at this before?
Only on ausbiz.
Right. But, I mean, strategically, obviously Jonathan just painting the picture there at the moment, given China's control, what do you see as the benefit for Lynas?
Everything Jonathan said is absolutely correct. And it is a major, major risk factor for the US and for the rest of the Western world, having total supply of nearly 98% or something coming out of China, and it's definitely a strategic weapon from their point of view, and they're starting to flex that muscle. I think that they'll come to terms with Trump, but anyway, because they can't afford not to, in my view, but we'll see what happens. In the meantime, the idea of onshoring in the US and also with friendly countries like us, which is the next best thing, as Trump said, and I think the Pentagon are giving or providing quite a lot of funding to Lynas anyway, aren't they? So they're supporting them. So Lynas has got a strategic tailwind, if you like, in that where they fit. But as an investment, it's very difficult. They haven't done particularly well over the years, and the fact where they had a lot of problems in Malaysia because there was an enormous popular uprising against the processing of the rare earths because of the argument that it was going to pollute the water table and so on. And that caused enough grief that the Malaysian government, I think, withdrew their licence for a while. They've sorted that out, but they're doing more in Australia now, and it'll be interesting to see how that plays with our greenies, who I would have thought have bigger fangs than the Malaysian greenies. But anyway, we'll see. But look, it's got a lot of merit. It's currently on 150 PE, so it is making a profit. on Conscious Investor, which is Team Invest tool, that is the best way to look at this from my point of view. It's showing about 8% a year over the next 5 years based on its performance history, but a negative 14% on a margin of safety. Now, the reason that's so big is the margin of safety then dramatically reduces the PE back to something more reasonable, whereas the default metrics say, okay, well, it's been on a high PE for a long time. We'll assume it's going to be on a high PE when in 5 years' time, which is what the model's working on. So to me, I agree with Jonathan. I'm not a speculator. You could say it's an intelligent speculation. Whether that will pay off or not, I don't know. But at least it is profitable and it has quite a lot of things going for it compared to some of the other companies we're going to look at today.
So what would you do with it?
I'd say if I had it, I'd hold it, but I wouldn't. I can't say it's a buy because I wouldn't buy it.
Yep. Okay. That's the view then on Lynas Rare Earths, our stock of the day.
The stock of the day was brought to you by IG. Trade over 12,000 shares and ETFs, including major tech giants with extended hours on an award-winning platform. Get started at ig.com.